Hello and welcome to Respectable. It's your boy K. Back again with these previews. And I'm on Group G with the Netherlands. No, I'm wrong. Sorry. Group F. Please excuse the background noise. It can't be helped. I'm so behind schedule, guys. As I'm recording this, the Dutch are about to play, I think in about after the Germany game. So yeah, I'm so behind. So as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and as always, share. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, guys, we're on Group F. We're on the Dutch, Netherlands, Holland, whatever you wanna call them. One of the big teams and stuff for some people favorites. I just wanted to touch on. I want to get you guys in and out of here quick because it's a Sunday, so yeah, I just want to finish up quick. I want to touch on the manager. I think it's appropriate for them to start with the manager because I will come to dissect the lineup because regarding the squad he picked, I quite like the squad he picked. I quite like the squad he picked. He picked the Crescentia Somervilles, you know, the Noah Langs. And I know they're not starters, but they could offer options for him. He did also select Wood Weghorst. That's the caveat to it. So that's it. But on Ronald Koeman, I don't trust this guy. I I don't trust this guy. Some people are putting the Dutch as favorites. I want to get there because their squad looks good. Their defense looks good. I know Van Dijk seems a little bit past it, but he's still a solid enough defender and a world beater. They have Mickey van der Ven. I think Ake was selected. They have Real Madrid just signed Denzel Dumfries. So the defense is the midfield for me. That midfield exceptional. The attack, players are dipped in form. Some players are not quite there yet, but it's solid enough to do something and should be put there as maybe not favorites, but some people like be around the favorite scene. But because of this manager, I just doubt it. This manager ain't good at all, man. You can't trust Ronald Koeman. You cannot trust Ronald Koeman from when he was coaching Barcelona. I couldn't trust Ronald Koeman. He was ass at Barcelona, and he's been ass for the Dutch. I don't know why they kept him on. I don't know what's the belief in it or they're giving him just this World Cup. But I think he's so under pressure. I think an underwhelming performance and he's out of a job. I think an underwhelming performance at this World Cup and he's gone, mate. And he's not to be trusted. He's fumbled the squad time and time again when he should have done some of the Euros. What a bad Euros from him. So I'm a bit skeptical on him, but on this squad is good enough and should be around the favorite scene. Let me dissect the lineups real quick. I want to pull up the lineups real quick. Let me pull up the lineups real quick. We start off with obviously Ronald Koeman made it like clear that his number one choice. Sorry for that. His number one first choice goalkeeper is Bart van Goorlen from Brighton. Good on his feet. I'm not really a fan of him save wise. I don't think he saves particularly a lot of shots, but he's solid enough. On the right back, as I alluded to it earlier, Denzel Dumfries attacking right back, very, very good for Inter. Mainly plays wing back, but we'll see him at right back. Obviously, I think he can do it. He's an exceptional going forward. Real Madrid got themselves a good player. So yeah, Denzel Dumfries. We have Jean-Paul Van Hecke and Virgil van Dijk. I think he'll go with them based on the data I've gathered. Jean-Paul Van Hecke, steady 80 for Brighton. Nothing special for me. And then Van Dijk, his form is dipped. I think he's past it. I really do think Virgil van Dijk is past it. I think he's not that top level defender we're used to, but he's a leader and should lead the Netherlands. Left back, I didn't know who to go with. He didn't have a natural left back. That's why he's been going for Mickey van der Ven in these past few games. He does sometimes play AK there. So we'll see what he goes for there. Also in the right back position, there's another option he could go for in Mats Vifa who plays for Brighton, but I think he'll go for Denzel Dumfries. You can't bench a Real Madrid player. No. Then in the midfield, I alluded to it earlier. Also, what an exceptional midfield that I just pulled up here. Are you looking at that? Are you looking at this midfield, guys? Look at it. Tijani Renders, Frankie de Jong, and Ryan Gravenberch. Elite midfield. People rank the Portuguese midfield up there. This midfield should also be up there. I know people are not that, high on thingy on Tijani Reinders. He doesn't also start every week for Man City, but he is a good midfielder. And he was good in the AC Milan days, and Perry he hasn't really gotten a look in at Man City, but he's solid enough. Frankie de Jong enough is said about him. Love him as a player. Arguably, if not my favorite midfielder in the whole world. Maybe Pedri, but de Jong is up there. And then obviously Ryan Gravenberch. You know what he's been doing for Liverpool. Needless to say, he's elite. That's what I'd say. Then the front line is the one I wanted to touch on the most. I don't want to spend too much time in the defensive midfield because I think the front line might be their demise. I think this front line might be their demise unless he starts, the Somervilles, the Noah Langs, which I think they should be given a chance. But I doubt he's going to be given they're going to give him a chance. I thought he was going to select Frimpong and play him there at the right wing. I'm surprised he's been going for Don. I think he'll go for Donyal Marlin there. Very surprising left Frimpong out. Very surprised. You know, I think he'll go for Donyal Marlin, who's been scoring goals for Roma. I don't particularly think he's good enough, but it is what it is. Then obviously on the other side, a lot of things have been said about Cody Gakpo, but he does the job for the Netherlands. He always pulls up for the Netherlands. He's always pulled up. I know Liverpool fans are not particularly fans of him right now, but for the Netherlands, he's done well and he's arguably been their most consistent player. In a Dutch shirt. Then at the striker position, I think Koeman has all but confirmed that he will start Memphis Depay. I don't know the fitness issues with Memphis Depay. The form also is skeptical, but I'm Memphis Depay is your starting striker, and you want to make it far and potentially win a World Cup. I just don't think it's possible. I just don't think he's an elite striker. Koeman praises him and big ups him as if he's an elite striker, but he's not. But remains to be seen. So, in essence, what I'm trying to say about this group, on paper, this lineup is solid. It will obviously get out of this group. I think they surely should get out of this group. They have Tunisia in that group. If you beat Tunisia, I think the first match which is playing now, I think it's very difficult for the Dutch. Something's telling me they're not gonna do well in this match. I hope not. But they might not do well. And in conclusion to this, I think the Dutch are not gonna go far in this tournament. I think obviously the path to victory, they should beat Sweden when on paper, and they should beat Tunisia. What will they do against Japan? We'll see later on. But this match doesn't really make it for me. So even if they lose this match, I think they still prime to go through. So we'll see, man, with the Dutch. Can Koeman do it? I don't think so. But hey, remains to be seen, man. I am not rooting for the Dutch. So respect to anyone from Holland who's watching, but I'm not rooting for the Dutch. I'm not. I would not. I would never root for Koeman after what he did at Barca. But man, hopefully they have a good tournament, man, and you know, they actually live up to what they're supposed to be. There are teams that are on paper you're supposed to be this. I hope they live up to it. So remains to be seen, guys. Remains to be seen. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, share this video, turn on post notifications for more World Cup content, and check out other previews on our channel. And as always, guys, peace.